Hello, hello. How are you all? We are. My name is Preston Jacobs. I live in Santo Domingo. We're talking about a lot of ice and fire. There was a lot of news. There was a lot of ice and fire news this week, this weekend. It is it is a crazy time. I'm joined by Carmine of Red Team Review. This is quite a weekend. Probably the busiest weekend in ice and fire news we've had in a long time.
We say that every time, but it never ended up being
Really.
true.
This time we had the Hot D trailer, the Harrenhal news, the finale of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, all coming in the same weekend. Yes.
I feel like that. I feel like that weekend where George crashes out on the Hollywood Reporter, telling us that he no longer has interest in writing The Winds of Winter. I feel like that was pretty big. But yeah, this is big too.
I guess. I guess. Let's talk about Hot D. Let's talk about Hot D for a moment. I know the trailer came out. I know a lot everybody's fucking seen it. But let's let's take a look at it here. If there's anything worth talking about, it's mostly action. Geez, what's going on? No. Carmine's like, use K, use your hotkey K. Like, okay. All right. First scene. The we have Allison coming into the Iron Throne. It's of course now occupied by Aemond. Aemond, as we know, becomes the effective king after Aegon II kind of disappears after his injury. But he's not in King's Landing very long. We know that he eventually moves to Harrenhal and then goes on the move with his dragon. So this is we kind of know that this is very early in the season. In fact, Carmine, you think everything in the trailer is first episode.
It's most of the trailer, most of the teaser is the first episode because this is clearly the morning
Yeah,
after
where
she
were
goes to
you?
Rhaenyra.
Oh yeah.
Not only that though, but the director of the episode says we pick off season 3. I think the day after season 2, episode 8. I
Okay.
believe he says that. There's no time
Because
skip.
we're back with Rhaenyra, and obviously Jace is still there, which means that the Battle of the Gullet has not happened. We've got Celtigar and which Kingsguard is that?
I forgot. Is it Darkland or
It's
did
either
Darkland
Darklyn
die?
or um what's the other one? I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Wait, didn't Darkland die because like his grandmother Ariana Darkland or something? Like you remember what I'm talking about? It was a nod to Ariana Grande. They named his grandmother Ariana Darkland.
Oh really?
She was part Targaryen. You don't remember that for episode 7? You don't remember that?
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're saying he died at the choosing or whatever.
Was
Yeah,
that? I don't
yeah,
remember if it was him. It's been a minute.
yeah. Do you get copyrighted if you play the trailer? Of course, I get copyrighted if I play the trailer. The way you avoid it is having no sound and by going very slow. Okay, this is how you avoid it. Um, Allison came to Dragonstone. We don't have very much of the trailer here. She'll open the gates of the Red Keep. This is the big alteration to the plot. Something George would probably fucking fume about. In the source material, we know that it's very clear causation that the Battle of the Gullet shifts Rhaenyra from being um, conservative to being reckless in her military actions. And so the Gullet changes Rhaenyra, and she wants to fucking invade King's Landing at that point, and that's the shift. Here we have this show only plot of Alicent offering to open the gates and end the war quickly, her and Rhaenyra having this backdoor deal, which primarily there to give Rhaenyra and Alicent something source material. Yeah, we're back. We're back. Okay. As you know, the past few weeks, my fucking cable on my Yeti's just been fucked up. So, but we're back. You right, Carmine? Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. We are in fact not back. We're back. We're back, motherfuckers. Okay, so we're saying that the show only plot of Rhaenyra and Alicent's backdoor dealings was put there primarily to give Alicent and Rhaenyra something to do. As I've said many times, the source material for Hot D is fundamentally flawed. It establishes three main characters, Alicent, Rhaenyra, and Daemon, and then doesn't give them anything to do. Or not, I mean, it gives Daemon the most to do, but it gives Alicent and Rhaenyra very little to do during the war. And thus, they have to create these other plots. Plots I don't necessarily think were that great. So she'll open the gates of the Red Keep. We had a flirt. We flirted a bunch. And so they've actually gone. You're saying, Carmine, this is even before that. She's still in the cloak. That's Alicent.
This is the morning to the Red Keep.
Before Alicent returned?
No. This is the morning where Alicent returns to the Red Keep as she's going to go talk to Aemon.
Right, but they showed her entering to talk to Aemon, so you're saying they've now gone even farther back in time.
Yeah, it's probably the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, that they showed her entering the throne room, and now they're going back in time and showing her entering the Red Keep.
This one here is a little tricky. I saw someone say that it's possible Jace could be talking about Mysaria, because if you recall, Mysaria and Rhaenyra got very cozy last season. Mm-hmm. So this could be he could be talking about Mysaria. Like, you cannot trust Mysaria. This woman's completely new, but it's most likely Alicent, of course.
Do you think Rhaenyra and Alicent will kiss? Probably. At some point, I don't know. We had
I'm 100% hoping they are, because that was a great. We need more of that. By the way, Daemon, they're back from Harrenhal. Daemon is firmly with Rhaenyra.
Right, in King's Land. Yeah, on Dragonstone here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, are they gonna both take? Well, they're probably both gonna go, like in the books, but I don't know how I feel about Daemon's character anymore after that last episode. I mean,
right. They spend this entire season like having him discover his feelings about Rhaenyra and then just giving him a prophecy. Yeah.
To like undo all that character is like whatever.
The HBO original series returns. Okay, and so here we get which dragon? Who's that on top?
I think that's Moondancer with Baela.
Yeah, you're right. Because I was like, this dragon does not look familiar. And you're like, it's a dragon we haven't seen very much. So yeah, Moondancer and Baela. That would track. Yeah, that's definitely her. But wait a minute, that's the Battle of the Gullet, right?
Yep.
So they're putting her at the Gullet. Okay. You know, doesn't really change much, but I understand they want to give the character stuff to do.
Well,
So,
there's no nettles, so what are you gonna do?
well, I mean, Nettles wasn't at the gullet either, but I mean,
It doesn't matter. Like, there's no nettles. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, there's nothing they could possibly do other than have Luke there. Not Luke. I'm sorry, Jace there, and who else
yeah.
actually shows up the gullet? It's not Reyna, is it?
No,
No,
it's Viserys, the younger.
Viserys.
Viser,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Viserys the second, right? And also Aegon, not Aegon. Yeah, Aegon the third learned like loses dragon.
Actually, Preston, I was correct. Nettles fought valiantly on behalf of Queen Rhaenyra in the Battle of the Gullet. I was
What?
correct. How
Really?
dare you gaslight me? How dare you
What?
gaslight me?
What?
You know this is a recession indicator when I'm
I
getting the lore
know,
better than you.
right?
Like, you know this ain't good.
All right, fair enough.
But
Wow,
no,
they're
yeah,
all
so
there.
Bela and Moondancer, they're not gonna have nettles, so therefore, you know.
Okay, okay. But yes, Aegon, little like Aegon the third is supposed to be there.
Yes,
Um,
both little boys are there when they get captured.
yeah. But we haven't been given any time with Aegon and Viserys, nor like is it. Did they even make Aegon a dragon rider? I don't think so. So
They were they were we do see them very briefly in the Vale and
yeah,
before Lady Erin kicks them out because there's no dragons there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and they go with a clutch of dragon eggs. So, there's that.
Let's see here. This is Aegon the second, of course, return like venturing off, having with being spirited away by Laris. Um, uh, I guess they're. It won't be as much of a surprise when he shows like they could play it and they aren't going to do this because they want to give Aegon the second plenty of screen time because Aegon the second you need to give Aegon the second more screen time considering he's going to live much longer than the other characters. Much, but like I'm talking about in the length of this story, his time period is actually much longer when you actually think about the Dance of the Dragons. But they could have played it like he disappears for a while, and then when he reappears, it's a big surprise. But I bet they're gonna
That's what I
follow
wanted
him.
them to do.
I
That
bet
would
they're
have
gonna
been the
follow
best.
him the whole time.
Unfortunately, because that's what I wanted them to do. You're right. That would have been like,
Yeah,
oh, I forgot about him. He's back.
yeah, because the other characters have forgotten about him, right? You know, and that's the whole thing. Here we have some sort of map with some cool pieces. I see a dragon and some stuff.
This is Tessarion.
Tessarion. It's fucking huge. Tessarion's bigger than I thought he'd be.
By the way, there's a controversy. If you go back just a tad to the person
Mhm.
riding the horse, um, supposedly Daron. I don't know why people think Daron here has red hair. You can't really
Where
see
was
his
it?
hair.
I didn't see any red.
It's the guy riding the horse, but you can barely make it out. I don't know how anybody made it out, or like if they're just
There's a
being
person in the
crazy.
background. There's like some people.
So the
Oh,
person here riding the horse, go a little further, just a tad. You'll see.
oh, there.
See that person right there? Yeah. I don't know where someone sees his hair. Maybe they're
Also,
right. Maybe
who cares about that like random
I
character?
mean, I know.
I don't know.
I
That's nothing.
but people were freaking out about that. We don't see Daron in the trailer or in the teaser
No.
at all.
Is this another Hightower brother?
I think so.
Yeah, somebody we haven't met before. Um, and then Well, that's Vagar.
At Harrenhal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. He goes and he takes Harrenhal from Daemon, and we get nothing here. We have no idea what this is. Here's our boy, the Rogue Prince, and then he's in a battle somewhere.
Probably in the Riverlands. He's going all over the place.
Do you
Because we
think
did
they'll
see-
have a? I mean, do you think they're going to have a battle? So it would be a superior ad if rather than Daemon abandoning Harrenhal and having Aemon take it, if they actually had a little brief interaction and fought to actually build up a rivalry. I think my one criticism of the Battle Over the God's Eye is Aemon and Daemon, like, don't fucking know each other. They've never had a fucking rivalry. Like, they have nothing to do with each other. Yeah, they're on opposite sides, but who fucking cares? I mean,
Preston.
it was like Jaime fighting Euron at the end of Game of Thrones. Like,
Exactly
why are
like
these
that.
two characters fighting? That's kind of how I feel about the God's Eye. So if they had a brief battle between Aemon and Daemon with the Harrenhal exchange, it would be interesting. But I think it might be Daemon somewhere else, unfortunately.
Preston, House of the Dragon is filled with that. I don't think I've ever seen Alicent and Daemon have a conversation. I'm sure they have, but
Yeah.
not enough for them to really hate each other. And
Right.
you know who also hasn't ever had a conversation with each other? Rhaenyra and Aegon. I don't even think they've been in the same room together.
I mean, there's the when young Aegon and young Rhaenyra, when they like points to Aegon, he's like, you could marry Aegon, and it's like a baby on the floor. So, you know, like
All that counts. But no, this is, I think, him in the
You're right.
Riverlands. So we know he's going to be in the Riverlands, and he's going to fight there because House of the Dragon put up a poster about it coming soon or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we also know from leaked reports that Daemon will also be in the Reach because there's supposed to be some kind of ploy with the High Towers supposedly giving up Daeron, but it's like a fake Daeron. And then we also know that he's going to be in King's Landing later in this teaser because we see him fighting High Tower soldiers.
Let's just put him everywhere. Bring him to the Vale. Put him in Dorne. Put him at the Wall. Fuck it, Daemon everywhere. Like, I mean, he's got a dragon. He can fly everywhere. We've seen the spy photos of him with Daeron or him with fake Daeron, right?
We'll see if that's even a thing. Like, we'll see.
Yeah.
But he's in the Reach.
All right, so Battle of the Gullet. There's that was quickly father, right? And then we've got Corlys, and then Kristen Cole. Like, how is he dressed here? It's just so weird that he's just like dressed like a. Is he supposed to?
I would imagine they got ambushed, and before he could put on his armor, that's why he's all dirtied up.
They're expanding his role, you know, right? Kristen Cole.
It's weird how in season 2 you started off you fucking hate him, but by the end of season 2 you're like, you know what, I get it.
He had his PTSD.
Uh-huh.
So here we've got, I guess this is, I mean, the red color, like this scene, I'd be like, it looks more like Meleys than it does Caraxes, but it's got to be Caraxes just because of color, right?
Yes.
Battle.
Winter Wolves.
Yeah, there's the Winter Wolves. All on foot. They got there fast. This is
Aegon stabbing a guy.
Yeah, Aegon stabbing a guy.
I imagine he went back to the area outside of Rook's Rest to grab Sunfire.
Yeah, something.
There is a plot in Fire
Whoa,
and Blood
is that
where...
Dagger Watch?
Holy shit, is that the dagger?
It's that Dagger Watch.
I don't remember if Aemon had it in the opening.
It looks pretty small to be the dagger.
It's something.
It just looks like
But
an
in
arrow. It's like
Fire and
half of
Blood,
an arrow. He's like
in
stabbing
Fire
him with half an arrow.
in Fire and Blood, they put some soldiers around where the area where Sunfire is, and imagine this is Aegon going
Yeah.
back to grab him. This is
Uh,
Daemon fighting in the throne room.
so this is if Aemon is fighting in the throne room, then we are past episode 1 because this is Rhaenyra taking King's Landing, right?
I would imagine that happens in episode 1. Gullet might be episode 2, ending of 1, beginning of 2, like most of 2 at least.
But I think you should do Gullet then King's Landing versus King's Landing then Gullet. But now that they have different motivation, now they have different motivation for King's Landing. Who knows?
Well, the reason I say Gullet will probably be after Rhaenyra takes King's Landing is because you remember you have to start. You have to start.
They want to keep Jace alive longer. That's fucking it. Like,
well, they have to start the season with Rhaenyra like on top, literally. Like they have to. That'd be a great cliffhanger episode. Cliffhanger ending for the episode is where Rhaenyra finally sits on the throne.
Sooner or later, Rhaenyra sent her new dragons here. It would be the end. Gullet. There's our boy Jace. There's Rhaenyra trying to go to the bathroom and it's occupied. So that's what's going on here. She's like, I need to pee! I need to pee! And then is there some sort of like maybe he was part of maybe he's in camo. So he's like they're doing some camo movement.
I imagine it's them getting ambushed because he should be in armor, but
he looks like he has camo face paint on. He's wearing, and so it looks like he's doing the ambushing.
Also possible.
Right?
Yeah, well, it's clearly a camp in the background. Someone's getting ambushed.
Somebody's getting ambushed. Oh, he came. Oh, oh, I need to pee. I need to pee. What do you think of that makeup? It doesn't really look like a burn victim. What's that? Oh, it's a dragon. I need to pee! Man, what's going on with the I need to pee scene? People getting tossed in the water. She's like, oh my god, Rhaenyra needs to pee. That's it. Okay. So she's sad about Jace, obviously.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Unless is there more after the House of the Dragon thing?
There's not.
No. Okay. It'd be funny if I still get copyright struck for that. That's probably what would happen. Okay. Still all that action. I mean, do you feel hyped again? It's like how many times can we be fooled? How many times are we going to get hyped? And how many times we're going to get let down?
It's a little bit. There's still a chance it could be good. There's still a chance.
Still chance. I mean, that's the thing is there were some really great episodes in season 2.
There were.
Oh, which do you like, Rhaenyra Alicent BFF take, or do you prefer evil stepmom Alicent? I actually prefer BFF. I think that was a smart change. I think it adds a lot more than evil stepmother. I think I think it adds more dimensions. I'm not saying I like all of the plot points they did along the way. I think the meeting at the Sept was ridiculous. I think the meeting at the end where they're like flirting with each other while talking about killing their son, by killing Aegon is ridiculous. Like, but generally I think it adds a lot more to the story with the BFF in love with each other like take. I think that adds a lot more layers. I think it was a good choice. I don't know if the stepmom, like the evil stepmom thing in the source material, Alicent's just fucking evil. Like Alicent's just horrible in the like there's no redeeming quality to Alicent in the source material. So, you know, she would just be a villain the whole time.
Plus, we've seen the evil queen trope before with Game of Thrones, like Cersei.
Yeah.
Like we've seen this. It's.
Just finished Boardwalk Empire, better than The Sopranos, maybe even The Wire, HBO's best. I don't know. I haven't seen Boardwalk Empire. Have you, Carmine?
No, I haven't. It's on the list.
Okay. It's Mr. Pink. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Mr. Pink. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've heard good things about it. Yeah. I mean, it's old. 10 years now it's been, right? Jeez.
Just
12
about.
years. I'm trying to think of like HBO's best. I mean, I guess is The Wire still the best of HBO? You like Sopranos though, Carmine, don't you?
I do, but I think I like Sopranos best on these random clips I get recommended on YouTube. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, I know. They make you a little more nostalgic, like because they're not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's also lots of Sopranos that was just whatever, right? So, Nettles is at the gullet. Nettles is at the gullet. Okay. The only battle Nettles fought in. All right. Yeah. So he's like, there could only be one black girl at the gullet. It's so it's Bela. Greetings from Taiwan. All right. Huaning. All right. Cat's Paw Dagger Watch. What is the probability of Joanna Lannister having twins and a dwarf in her lifetime? It's got to be in the trillions. No. Well, the problem is if you look at that statistical event first and talk about that probability first versus like a bunch of random shit happening. Like if you took all the events of your life and you said, what are the chances of those events happening to you? It would be astronomical. But obviously, like, that's just saying after the fact. I mean, some events had to have happened to you. But you're right that like having two very unusual birth situations, but it's still after the fact, right? You know, like I'm saying, like, okay, say she had twins and an albino, you'd be like, oh, what are the chances of that? Well, that's so anything unusual. Essentially, you're at the point of like anything that you determine to be unusual would be one of those things where you'd be like, oh, what are the chances of that and then that happening, right? So, you know, you've got the twins and you've got the dwarf. But had it been, you could say the same thing had it been, you know, an albino and somebody with 4 toes. You know, like it would have been anything. Anything slightly unusual would. So the question is now is like essentially, what are the chances that Joanna Lannister could have 2 rather unusual, you know, birth situations, genetic birth situations, you know, in her lifetime? But yes, obviously, like twins and then a dwarf. If you went beforehand and like said, what are the probability? Oh, it's impossible, you know, but because it's in retrospect, it's like essentially just two unusual things. Because it's not really the probability of twins and a dwarf, it's the probability of two unusual things happening, you know. Why are we talking about fan fiction? I know. This is the hot D. I mean, everything. This is where we are, right? Everything is fan fiction. Everything with the Game of Thrones franchise now is fan fiction. Because actually, Carmine and I are going to sit down this week and talk about Harrenhal, or the Iron Throne. I think it's going to be called The Mad King now, the play that's going to come out this summer about Harrenhal.
Wait a minute. Was it called the Iron Throne at one point? Why do I feel like it was?
It's on Wikipedia as the Iron Throne.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
because I remember it being called Harrenhal, which makes
I remember
way
being
more
called
sense.
Harrenhal too. But apparently, I think it was maybe at first called the Iron Throne. Rome season 1 was really great. I mean I liked Rome season 2 too, but Rome season 2 was just like they're trying to do so much and it was moving so fast. But what I'm a big fan of Wire season 1 and 4, but season 3 is, you know, it's okay. It's not as bad as season 5, but yeah, it wasn't popular enough, so they rushed the ending. Is there any event after the storming of the dragon pit? Think of huge sacrifice to R'hllor, all those bodies burnt alive in Drogon's blood. I mean, oh, you're saying like in the city, like of King's Landing? I mean, obviously in the story we're gonna have plenty of fucking things after the goddamn storming of the dragon pit. But I mean, Battle of the God's Eye, you know, all the stuff that's gonna fucking happen on Dragonstone, Tumbletons, and I can't. I mean, I don't think like which was first, Tumbleton or Dragon Pit, but it's all happening at the exact same time, really close together. But obviously the crazy events on Dragonstone after that and happen after, and then obviously like Hour of the Wolf and the internal scheming against Aegon and shit like that, and the regents coming in after that. But
think of the huge sacrifice to R'hllor, all the bodies burnt alive in blood. Homie, R'hllor is not Khorne from 40K. Like, he's not the blood god. It's it's not like it
is. I mean, it's king's blood, not even dragon's blood, right? Burning dragons does fucking nothing for R'hllor. He only wants king's blood.
That's true.
Yeah. So really, I mean, if we're talking about like what event R'hllor would like, I suppose Rhaenys, the queen who never was, like she no, she fell to death, didn't she? So she didn't even get burned up. Aegon the Second, he got his blood burned, but it wasn't like singed. You know, let's see. I'm trying to think of who gets like a Targaryen that gets charred. Rhaenyra gets eaten by the dragon, so she probably was burnt first. So
what happens to does Aegon 1.5? Does he fall to his death, or is he like burned alive by Maegor?
That's a good question. Aegon the Uncrowned. I mean, he died. No, he obviously dies in that battle, but let's see here. Found himself abandoned. He's declared king. The march to the Riverlands. Aegon's army is bigger. Maegor attacked him while riding Balerion. Killed Aegon and Quicksilver. It just says killed. So you don't know if he's like burned or falls to his death or crunched. I have to look it up. You know, was he chomped? I have to open Fire and Blood and like. I feel like they would have said it in the wiki had they actually given the answer to that. But let me. Now I gotta fucking bring up Aegon the Uncrowned. The Uncrowned began. It just said that. We got this picture of him, and they show him falling in the picture. But is that it? I don't know. It just says that after the battle, amongst the dead was Aegon the Uncrowned. Oh, here we go. The young dragon plunged to the earth. There it is. He fell. He fell, not burned. Hard to burn these Targaryens, man. I guess Rhaenyra. Okay, so that right there, if you want your sacrifice to R'hllor, it's Rhaenyra.
Egg, possibly.
Egg, you're right. You're right.
Still, the verdict's still out on that because Dunk could have also killed him, but...
I mean, you know my rant last week about how I fucking hate Summerhall? Like, I think it ruins the Hedge Knight. It could be that, like, hey, Egg, let's fake our death and two of us will go off. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like, something like
one last adventure.
Last adventure, you and me. We disappear. You're like, okay, happy ending.
I've never been over the 5 Forts. I hear they have puppets there.
I hear they got puppets. Let's go on an adventure. Hi, Preston, checking in for my Night's Watch again. What's your take on Breaking Bad versus the Night of the Seven Kingdoms review bombing situation? Carmine brought this up actually today to me.
It's the most jobless behavior bullshit I've ever seen from any fandom, and I sent you the video that the official Game of Thrones HBO account did. Some intern in charge of like handling the Twitter account.
Yeah.
They sent this video. If you want to put the video up, there's no sound, I don't think. Let me see here.
Okay.
There's no
so
sound.
you don't think I'll be copyright struck on it?
No. Before you put up the video, do you mind if I explain the situation real quick so the audience knows? So basically, you're gonna this is ridiculous. So you know how episode 5 came out and everyone was like, whoa, this is the greatest episode ever in the history of time and space, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what episode was rated the highest in all of TV before that? It was the Breaking Bad final season episode, Ozymandias.
I mean, nothing. I mean, is that the last episode of Breaking Bad, or is it?
No, I think it's like the third to last, I think. Okay. But here's the thing, though, because nowadays Reviews are just people like being like really high. Because episode 5 was good,
Right. I
but
mean,
I think it was a 10 out of
it's
10.
bots and review bombers.
Right, right.
It's nothing's legitimate anymore. Like the internet, this is I'm totally on board with the dead internet theory. By the way, but
So
yeah,
so essentially what happened is that the Breaking Bad fans were like, yeah, that episode, no one can top Ozymandias. So Breaking Bad fans started downvoting episode 5, The Mother, and then I guess somehow that got out. So Ice and Fire fans went and downvoted.
and which is just like highlight clips of like
You might want to mute
an
that.
episode of like Battle of the Bastards.
You might want to mute that.
Carmine?
You might want to mute it.
Oh, did I mute everything here? What the fuck?
You did mute everything.
I can't hear Carmine anymore. I don't know if I can. Oh wait. Here we go. Carmine, you there?
Yes.
Okay. I think I muted my own fucking screen, and then. But yeah, this is just like they sent this out on their official. Here. No, not this. What if I can mute this shit? I don't want this fucking video on here. Fuck this video. Okay.
Regardless, so the official HBO account posted that video. It's like the Battle of Bastards. Ramsay's forces are the Breaking Bad fans. Jon is Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and the Vale forces are the Game of Thrones fans coming in to like help out. This is from the official HBO Game of Thrones account on Twitter. They posted this, and it's just loser behavior. Who fucking cares? But
Yeah.
the Breaking Bad fans, like, I guess they're bored. I don't know. Like,
it's two very different It's two very different shows. Two very different shows and two very different episodes. But I mean, it's the equivalent of being like, what's a better movie? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like Terms of Endearment or Empire Strikes Back, and you're like, what? These are like, how we can even compare these like very fucking different movies? Like, what are we fucking talking about here? That's how I feel about like comparing anything Game of Thrones with anything fucking Breaking Bad. Like, like Game of Thrones has these huge casts and huge budgets and it's about spectacle, and Breaking Bad was about like two dudes, like for the most part.
What's sad is that like I liked the episode episode 5, The Mother. I liked it. I thought it was good. Is it 10 out of 10? No. But you have these like fandoms are the new gangs now. You know how like like gangs in Baltimore or Detroit or Newark would fucking kill each other because they were in different colors. Like you're gonna go and start like flame wars online because you want your show to be the best. Like again, 97 Kingdom is great. Is it 10 out of 10 great? I wouldn't go that far, but
no.
Like, come on, this is just jobless behavior. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
I hit Preston up. I'm like, Preston, did you hear about this? And Preston goes, no, what's going on? Preston's living his life. Preston is having a good time living his life.
Fanfic Cersei destroys prophecy. Twin dwarves. I mean, I guess if twins run in the Lannister family, which apparently they do, there's an increased probability of them, right? But do dwarves run in the family? I think Tyrion's the only Lannister dwarf we know about. But there does seem to be higher probability of being a dwarf in Westeros than our society. Um, if one were to make a 2-hour version of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, what would be the best way to distribute it without getting sued as a strictly non-profit project? I mean, what's the best way to not get sued? You'd like do the edit, and then you'd just like release it as a torrent, right? On Pirate Bay or something, and then no, and you have no attribution on like who did this. That I mean, wouldn't that work, or would they figure it out? What do you think, Carmine?
You should look up the Star Wars Project 4K 77. I think
Yeah,
you'll find some.
they got sued, right?
I don't know. They still have their website out, and I think they sell copies on eBay. I have no idea.
The selling copies thing, that's really crossing the line.
Mm.
um, but yeah, mm, mm. Let's see here. But I mean, it's like anything else with the in the story. Like I think George himself has said like Westeros is kind of the Middle Ages turned up to 11. Like with the intensity of everything. Everything has to be extreme, like the size of the castles and stuff like that. And the other thing, one of those things that is turned up to the extreme, I suppose, is like uh, genetic abnormalities, right? You get these huge characters like the Mountain and Duncan the Tall and stuff like that, with a relatively small population. Not that people aren't 6'11" in our world, of course they are, but we've only been introduced to 2,000 characters. That's a very small sample size. So what's literally the probability of having someone that's 6'11"? Um, and he's not even the only one. I mean, we're talking about the Mountain and the Hound and Hodor. And yeah, you could be like, well, some of them are related, so maybe it's not so genetically unlikely. It's still fucking hugely genetically unlikely. I mean, it's weird enough that when I look up my own height, that it's 99.5 percentile or something crazy, where I'm just like, what? Like I'm that much of a freak, Like it's one of these things. Um, like yeah, right. Yeah, it was 99.5 for being my height. So like out of if the population were 200 people, the the there would be one person like me, right? Which yeah, in a normal huge city of people, like that's not big a deal, but we've been introduced to 2,000 characters in Ice and Fire, and we have so many like super tall ones. 6'11", by the way, is in the 99.99th percentile of height. Okay, so that means literally we're talking about um, 1 in 10,000 people are that tall. Okay, so the idea that like somehow actually it's yeah. So like the idea that like we have a Dunk and a Mountain and all of these people that are this huge and a Hodor is like, ridiculous. Just as it's ridiculous that we have this many albinos in the story, because we have a fuckload of albinos. It's fucking crazy that we have this many dwarfs in the story. It's fucking crazy that we have this many twins in the story. It's everyone seems to have something unusual about them. But um Does winter actually have an impact on the story in the present time? Crops, maybe Blackwater Bay, White Knife, or Mandor freezing over, choking cities. Oops, I'm sorry. I mean, obviously, we've seen winter having an impact just in the Winds of Winter. Like, yeah, obviously, Stannis's march is heavily impacted by winter. We begin to see some crop hoarding in in the Vale. Um, but I'm trying to think of anything besides like Stannis's march has anything hit so far. Not really. In the fanfic, we added a winter broom to the Stormlands. Um, but surprisingly, the weather has not affected that much, other than Stannis' March. I mean, Stannis' March is a big deal, and everything happening at Winterfell and stuff like that. I mean, obviously that's huge, but surprisingly, yeah, weather and winter have not yet hit. Considering that winter is coming, and it took 5 books for it to finally come. But yeah, the crops, food and crops seem to have much longer growing season in Westeros. I think they can also store food for a lot longer years, unlike in our world. There's definitely differences. Um, I don't know. George is no farmer. I think in the Elaine sample chapter, he mentions winter wheat, and it's like, no, winter wheat is not what you think it is. Like he said, he's winter wheat, like ripening in the fields, and you're like, no, that's not how winter wheat works. It goes like winter wheat, like goes dormant in winter and then grows in the spring is the idea. Like it's planted in autumn and and is dormant in winter and then comes out in the spring, like that, or early summer harvest. So like that's winter wheat. Like, but George doesn't know these sorts of things. He's not really paying attention to it too much, because he doesn't want to. Because the more he pays attention to it, the more he's going to get called out for making mistakes. Don't worry, Preston. I muted so you won't get copyrighted. Yeah. But I was thinking about these fandoms, Carmine. Like, they're also a little different in that Breaking Bad had a story that ended. I mean, granted, it is a franchise, and they did have a prequel and things like that. But you can judge the story differently.
I'm not trying to be a jerk to you. I'm really not. Yeah. But I think you're giving way too much thought into it when it's really ultimately jobless behavior from 21-year-olds. Because, like, who gives a fuck? You know what? You know what I actually think Breaking Bad fans should really do? And I'm being dead. You might actually be annoyed with this. And I might actually upset a lot of people right now with what I'm about to say. But you know what they should really do, Preston? You know what they should really, truly do?
What's that?
Review bomb season 8, but give it good reviews. Like, have season 8, all episodes in Game of Thrones season 8 be 10 out of 10s. That would be the ultimate funniest troll move they could possibly do. And that would upset every single Game of Thrones fan. Because if there's one thing Game of Thrones fans hate, besides time-traveling Bran and George not finishing Winds, it's Game of Thrones season 8. If there's one thing they hate. So that would be the ultimate troll move. That's what they should do. But this is just silly and ridiculous.
Breaking Bad wasn't even the best show in its own universe.
That's cold. That's cold.
Do you think some great houses secretly supported the first Blackfire Rebellion? How did Daemon raise an army when his allies were spread out and isolated? It's a really good question, and I think the answer is like we don't really know. Like George hasn't really revealed who all of the people for the Blackfire Rebellion, like who supported whom. What we kind of know is like if we're really talking about like how did Daemon get so much support? Well, what we kind of know is that like okay, the second most powerful house in Dorne supported them. So maybe on the but Dorne isn't huge. So like okay, so maybe they got half there. And then you're like okay, the High Towers, who are one of the most powerful houses in the kingdom, um, split their loyalties and gave half to each. But after that, you're like looking for all of like the big supporters. Like who was it? And you don't really have that many, right? You know, when you look at the list, it's like Sunderland and Bracken is like the largest one, like Ambrose, Osgray, like you know, um, probably Hasty, Bonifer, probably like these little things like Landed Knights, and I mean you're right that it's just like who are the big houses because Aaron supported Daron, Tully supported Daron, Lannister supported Daron, Martell supported Daron. Like you're like fuck, like what? Um, you know, it's just like you have such big ones. Like it would have to be like a whole shitload of little ones or something. Um, but I think the answer is that like George just hasn't told us like who all of the Blackfire supporters were. It must have just been a shitload of small houses, you know, because you're right that like the great houses um, didn't support him. Now, could it be something like okay, the secretly like cash wise like the the Starks supported the Blackfires or something, you know, where are they getting this secret support from that they because they it's always framed as half the kingdom, like half the kingdom supported them. So how does that make sense when you've got you know Aaron, Tully, Tyrell, Lannister, Martell, like all supporting them? I guess we don't know where. I guess we don't know about Baratheon, but still, like you'd think that these houses would be punished for their support too. So it's like the existing powerful houses were the existing powerful houses then, and they don't seem to have been punished. Like we don't know who Baratheon supported, but Baratheon doesn't seem to have been punished for anything, you know? So it must have just been a whole lot of small houses or something that like made up or that Hightower was actually secretly much more supportive of the Blackfires than let on. But I mean, I guess Ironwood wasn't really punished that much, were they? Despite like their support. So I don't know. But you're right. It doesn't really make sense. You know, where are these Blackfire supporters if it was half the kingdom? Um, I don't have a good answer, but or there were secretly these super powerful houses that vanished that we just don't know about. That were huge. That were just fucking huge. Um, Hmm. uh, Hi, Preston. Unrelated question. What, if any, is your opinion of Dr. Roy Casagranda and of his talks, his take on history and politics refreshing? I'm not familiar with him. I'm looking up some stuff on him here. Um, he's got some claims that are kind of debunked. The Vikings thought their homeland was Persia. The Chernobyl was a major factor in the fall of the Soviet Union. Theodore Roosevelt's Great White Fleet was painted white because of white supremacy. Um, I mean, I'll have to let me see. Let me see about some of these things. This is what I've generally my feeling about history. Um, if if you think something is an interesting historical event, and you think it's crazy that this and this happened, it's probably a lie. History generally is very boring and complicated and nuanced. And when people like make these like, oh well, this really interesting thing happened, it probably didn't happen, or it didn't happen like that, or it wasn't as clear cut as that, and stuff like that. Um, and you can take this on on anything. When people like come up with like interesting things, like they'll be like, oh God, did you know that there was a black Confederate regiment, in the world, and so black people supported the Confederacy too, and you're like, and then you go in and you research it, and you're like, okay, there was one, but it's like, where they were forced to go by it was small, and they were forced to go by their masters, and it's like, oh, all of that like kind of makes sense and tracks. And once you learn like the nuance of it, you're like, that's not very interesting, like, so some slaves were forced to form a regiment that like, and they didn't really do anything. um it's these little things like that where you're like, you think it's really interesting, and then once you get into the details, you're like, whoa, well, yeah, it's kind of messy and doesn't really track. Okay, so um, I don't know. He doesn't really have any. I'm like looking for a clickbaity headlines, and it's like, it's not really that clickbaity. Russia, Iran, China, it's all connected. Okay. Um, um, a brief overview of U.S. presidency, I guess. You know. Brief history of the United States. It's not really, his titles aren't that clickbaity. I can't really get anything out of it. But um but yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry that I just don't have any like good opinion on it. I haven't watched any of his videos. But I will say that, like, you know, my general my general my general rule of history is like, if you find something super interesting and mind-blowing about history, it probably didn't happen that way. Because history is just like complicated and boring, and with a lot of it depends, and on the other hand, and um see, for instance, this comment I would say is the exact opposite of the truth. The real history is far more crazy and interesting than the Song of Ice and Fire world. I disagree. I'm sorry, Tornado. I thank you for being here, but like, I think the exact opposite of that. Like, real history is like, you know, difficult and nuanced. It's very difficult to even say anything is true, because like, because everything, like, even when you start saying like, when did a war start and when did a war end, no one fucking knows. Like, like, when did a nation state begin? Like, who supported whom? What was going on? What were the causes for a war? What was like, no one knows. What were the effects of a policy? No one knows. It's hard. I think there are 400 people in the U.S. 7 feet over, 17% chance to be in the NBA. Jesus, that's fucking crazy. That's funny though to think about. The number, like, that the NBA literally has like a significant portion. Like, even if you took this, even if this were like an exaggeration, like, even if you like, um even if I were to take this as 4,000 people in the US over 7,000 and a 1.7 chance to be in the NBA, I would think that was incredible. Like already I'd be like, oh my God, that's fucking crazy. Even if this number off by a factor of 10, I would be like, wow, like, you're that tall, you already have a fucking 1 in 50 chance of being in the NBA. To have like a 17%, that'd be nuts. That'd be nuts. I mean, that's a funny thing. How many? Does the AI, can the AI figure that out? I'm gonna say, how many people in the US are over 7 feet tall, and see if the AI comes to the same thing. Oh shit. I mean, the AI actually says that there's only about 150 people in the United States that are over 7 feet tall. That's funny. Approximately 17% chance of being in the NBA. That's funny. That's insane that it's so small. It's so fucking small. Isn't there a theory that Penny is Tyrion's daughter? Tyrion Tysha's daughter? I did imagine that. There is a theory. I think. Let's see. It'd be really, really gross. I think. Let's see. Tyrion's guess on Penny's age is around 16 or 17, and so Penny is guessed to be 17, 18, no more than 19 by Tyrion. So, and Tyrion, so the age range, because Tyrion is what, 20? Tyrion's 27. And so he gets married. If you go on her younger side, say she's 16. She would have to be a lot younger than Tyrion thinks. She would have to be a couple years younger than Tyrion thinks for it to work out. Because if Tyrion's 27, he gets married at what? He gets married and has sex with Tysha at what, 13? So that means like 14 years ago, but he has sex, so the girl would be 13. Penny would have to be 13 years old. And so he'd have to be off by a few years. So I'm not, I don't believe that Tysha, that Penny is just timeline wise, it doesn't really work out. As gross and George R.R. Martin as it would be for Tyrion to fuck his own daughter. Thoughts on the music and legacy of Townes Van Zandt? Jeez. Townes Van Zandt. He wrote Poncho and Lefty, if I needed you, Snake Mountain Blues of Mother of the Mountain, waiting around to die, to live and fly. I don't know if I have. I don't know if I have much opinion of him. He's essentially old timey country western. I mean, maybe I'd know his stuff if I listened to it, but I don't know. I've never been a country guy. I've never known much about country. I understand that like a lot of people like have some respect for old timey country, the Willie Nelson, you know, but I'm never really been into it, so it's tough. It's tough. Okay. Get to the end here. Will Tyrion make it to Old Town to see Tysha in the fanfic? Oh, I have told Carmine my plans for Tyrion, and he thinks
Bro, he spoiled
really
everything.
I don't want to spoil it because it's so fucking good.
What do you mean? Like, you spoiled it for me. Like,
I know I spoiled it for you. Carmine admitted that my plan for Tyrion is bold, and I can't believe that I would do that. But at the same time, it's kind of fucking cool. But I don't know if Tyrion making it to Old Town is really tough. I don't see that happening.
Wait, I said that? I didn't say it. Did I say that?
You said that you thought it was pretty cool and bold.
I said that shit's crazy.
Crazy good.
I think what you're doing with Tyrion is exactly like how George got to where he is right now. Like, how the fuck are you gonna like get the fuck out of that? Oh, we'll see. We'll see. That's a problem for the editors to solve, I guess.
I've got some really fucking cool, exciting things that are gonna be happening with Tyrion. That I think it'll be pretty fun. But I don't think he's gonna make it to Old Town. I don't think he's gonna meet Tysha in the fanfic. I mean, Tysha has had her little meeting, and yeah, but it's true. Someone dismissed transgender because only 1% of births don't have obvious distinct sexual organs. I wrote, dude, that's 3.5 million people in the US. 1% is insanely high. Like 1% is insanely high when you think about it. I mean, you can put like, the thing is, we always think about like 1% as being a small amount. But if you had a 100-sided die and someone was like, you roll that 100-sided die and I will shoot you if you get 63, you'd be like, I'm not rolling that die. What are you talking about? What? Because that 1% is a lot, right? Or imagine if like every time you bought an orange from the grocery store, 1% of the time you rip it open and there is a fucking turd inside. Like you'd be like, I'm never getting oranges again. Like 1%, like you know how many oranges I'm gonna fucking eat in a year? Like of course you're gonna be coming up with a handful of shit a few times, right? Like 1%, depending on the context, is a lot, So yeah, absolutely, 1% is a lot of people. It depends on like how you're talking about it. Like, do I care about transgendered people? Yes, I do. Do I understand if politicians want to shy away from the issue because it's only 1% of the population? Yeah, I understand that too. It all depends on the context. Like, I am 100% for trans rights, and I understand that they are the fucking scapegoat for a lot of fucking bullshit. But it's also really weird that everybody is having. Well, they're kind of going away from it now, but it's weird that like it was such a huge part of the American conversation when, issues about healthcare, for example, and people having healthcare, like just general healthcare, like affect way more people, and it's not talked about, So yeah. Oh, have you checked out the Game of Thrones RPG, not the Telltale? George R.R. cameos as a master. It's about a bastard daughter of Aerys II who has a bastard with Robert. What is? Have you heard of this? I
Yes,
knew there
I
was a
have.
like a role playing game,
There
like an
is.
actual book.
There is. It was called Game of Thrones, and it was for like the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the PC. It was very mid. It was fine. You play one of the
The
characters you play
2012
as is
game
like
we're
a
talking about.
yes, and one of the characters you play as is a Night's Watch guy who, um, I think can warg into things, and the other character is like a Lord of Light priest. George R. R. Martin does cameo, and
Hmm.
there is an interesting thing about his cameo. He has his glasses, which he calls mirrorish reading lenses, and at one point he has a conversation with other maesters, and the other maesters are asking him when he's going to put out his masterpiece or whatever. And George in the cameo says, "Oh, it's coming next year." And the maesters say, "Oh, he always says that,"
That's
which
funny.
that was before 2012.
2012. These jokes that like are funny then and then just become less funny over time. Ah man, oh man.
Very mid
That's
game. Very mid.
that's too bad. That's good. Um, you seem like a very nice guy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a nice guy or not. the I I've I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't think I'm that nice because Carmine knows that like I can be this level of offensive on stream, but in real life I'm like really quite offensive. Like I like make really inappropriate jokes a lot. And like Carmine's like on stream you're like, "Oh, you reel it in. You're so like careful." And I'm like, "Well, I
Bro,
got
you
to
are
be on
on
stream."
stream. You're nice. You just gave some asshole like 10 fucking minutes for a $2 super chat about some random ass historian. Who gives a fuck? That's very kind. I would have told him to fuck off. You are very nice. But what the audience doesn't understand about you is that privately, you're a caveman you're a barbarian who just fucking goes crazy on things. But on
Mm,
stream and in a video, you're a caveman who goes inside the cave. They don't get that. They don't know this. Like I once
yeah.
told Preston about Cracker Barrel. Holy shit, what a fucking mistake that was. The rant that followed afterwards. Fucking hell, man.
Keep in mind, I grew up in Baltimore with some very offensive friends, and like what we thought was funny, um, then was off the charts offensive. Like it was just. I reminisced with one of my high school friends a couple weeks ago, and we were just like, man. I mean, it's like still in our banter back and forth, we were so blunt, but at the same time, we both recognized like, oh shit, like the whole world does not think like we think. I mean, granted, we're like high school boys, like being silly, but like, man, it was a different world back then. It was a very different world back then. But also, like being offensive back then, I always find that like being offensive to someone privately face to face is very different than being offensive online as an anonymous, troll because that person's not owning anything. There's no courage to that. There's something very courageous to when you're in a private conversation with somebody and you say something offensive and you don't know if that person is going to laugh or love it. And, you're taking a risk to make a connection with somebody, a big risk. And sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. But that's very different than being like an online troll. So I don't, it's kind of lost, I think, past like Gen X. I don't know if it works anymore. But I don't know if I can really shake it. I have to watch myself a lot, You got to watch yourself at work. You got to watch yourself online. You got to watch yourself around your kids. You can't be the offensive a guy that I used to be, so only with Carmine. Only with Carmine do I. It'd be hard to roll a 100-sided die. They look like golf balls. Have you seen the 100-sided dies? Yeah, they're just like golf balls. Yeah. You can Google them. I mean, here's an example of one. They just took a golf ball. It's like, and it rolls. It's like a little tough to tell which number is on top, but it's there. They do it. 100 sides. You know. 0%, 1%, 2% of whole milk. So I'm dairy free. These things like people like, oh, Preston's a soy boy or whatever. I avoid soy. I don't do soy. I don't do dairy. I don't do gluten. That's the life of Preston Jacobs, you know. Um, so unfortunately, I when you're like 0%, 1%, 2% whole, it's almond milk, man. I drink almond milk. I drink unsweetened almond milk. That's what I like. Because I don't do dairy. So yeah, we're missing out on the true Preston. I mean, what is the true anybody, right? Like, um, we're all different people around different people. Like different people pull out different parts of our personality. So like if you're around, let's say you're the type of person that's hanging out with your bro friends a lot, you start to think that that's your personality. Or let's say you're hanging out with your significant other a lot, that's your personality. Let's say you're hanging out with your parents a lot, you're a different person around different people. Or you work a lot, you're gonna, um different different personalities come out around different people. We're not single people in isolation. We're part of the hive, and we act differently. Um, you know, are we the grasshopper or the locust or whatever? um, Last week, Carmine said, "Oh, now you've done it." What did I do last week?
Someone brought up this person. I don't know if you want me to say it out loud.
Oh God, are you talking about the sociopath?
Mm,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I'm not talking. Yeah, no, you're talking about the fucking spineless coward. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not talking about these people. Yeah, no. Um, yeah, white people from Baltimore are a different breed. I mean, I don't know if we're that different from black people from Baltimore. Baltimore is just in general a straightforward, vulgar town. Um, that's how it is. Um, mm, mm, mm. You want a crazy history? Search U.S. Navy Captain Lausman, my former commanding officer on the USS Blue Ridge, and you realize Trump's scandals drown that out. Interesting. Oh, the Fat Leonard bribery scandal. Accepting gifts, luxury hotel stays, and service from defense contractor. Felony convictions were vacated due to outrageous prosecutorial misconduct. And then he only had to pay $100 fine. Oh. Well, the Fat Leonard scandal. Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, it's always too bad if like somebody doesn't get, if justice isn't served. Almond milk tastes so bad though. It depends on the almond milk, man. Almond breeze and silk, pretty good. Generic brands, not really that great. So it all depends. I can't support big almond. Well, the thing is like, although, yeah, obviously almonds use a lot more water than use a lot of water, but they're not going to use more water than cows. I mean, cows like obviously use a lot more resources than almonds. I mean, yeah, almonds use a lot of fucking water. Absolutely. But not more than cows. Like, you know.
3 minutes before the episode airs.
I know. Okay. Jeez. When were you in a state where marijuana is legal? Did you indulge? I know I'm too old. I'm too old. Marijuana was illegal in all states when I was in when I was in a range of smoking weed. No. I don't know if I've ever. I mean, I haven't smoked weed for more than 25 years, but I'm trying to think if I ever did it in America. I don't even know. For the fanfic, how many submissions do you get on average? Depends on the chapter. Sometimes like Hota got a lot. Like that was in the 20s, but like sometimes it can be as low as 5, depends on the chapter. But so it's like the average, I think the average is around 10, but it all depends. There's quite a bit of variance. All right, Carmine, any more things before our last minute before we're off for
just to clear this up, because people are so confused about what I said. I brought up Cracker Barrel to Preston like last year or 2 years ago, and you went off on this rant about it. I won't go into detail, but yeah, it wasn't teenage Preston. I know Preston as a teenager. I think you as a teenager. I wasn't even born yet. I don't think.
Did it involve me talking about like morbidly obese people or what? Like what was I?
Well, let's be real. Morbidly obese Republicans. There's really no difference. By the way, your arch nemesis is crashing out on the Twitter. This guy here, he's crashing out because people call him the tourist, an ice and fire tourist, and he does not like that for some reason. I firmly believe the reason he hates you is because he was such a big fan of yours, because he had a whole blog about why he hated the show, and you were the only YouTuber back in 2014, 2015 who was really dismantling the show. And then you came out as a leftist, and then he got very upset. I firmly believe that's why. He was a fan who feels betrayed.
Maybe, but at the same time,
fuck him, of course.
He's a horrible human being and a sociopath. So it's just like literally
he's been posting pictures of himself getting his book signed by George and like buying the World of Ice and Fire World book. It's like, dude, he's trying so hard to prove he's not a tourist. Okay.
I mean, he completely misunderstands the story, like on a fundamental level. like way past like where it's just like, wow, you really didn't get it. You know,
He also doesn't understand
Okay.
that he also doesn't understand that he doesn't like George as a person. Like he may like George because George wrote the books, but he also everything George R. R. Martin stands for, he hates.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yeah. 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 Well, like, I mean, my political beliefs are pretty in line with George R. R. Martin's. I mean, it's just, I mean, but man, oh man. All right, guys, I will enjoy the show. We will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Carmine.